Hello everyone and welcome back to your favorite political satire show, With the Facts. I'm your host, Jack Kessler.
And I'm Everett Lyons. Let's get to it.
Yes, the Walt Disney Corporation is in dire straits this week as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed into law a bill dissolving Walt Disney World's self-governing status. For those who didn't know, up until now, Disney World has operated as its own governmental entity, distinct from the state of Florida itself, with the ability to build roads, control utilities, levy taxes, and operate its own fire and police departments. When you stepped foot on Magic Kingdom soil, the word of the Disney Corporation was law. But now that era has passed, and many see Governor DeSantis' decision as payback for Disney's opposition to Florida's recently passed Don't Say Gay bill. For the next 8 years, Ukraine's military squared off with breakaway militias and Russian volunteers on the stagnant Eastern Front. A ceasefire was brokered by the U.S. and European Union, but it proved worth less than the paper was written on, because every new day brought reports of firefights, artillery barrages, and airstrikes. That all changed in the last few months, however, as Putin began ramping up pressure on Ukraine. First, he called for NATO to be rolled back entirely from the east, which was immediately rejected. Then he officially moved Russian troops into Donetsk and Luhansk. Finally, after 8 years of buildup, Putin made his move and began his invasion. First, only 72% of the French electorate turned out to vote. While that would be an extraordinarily high number for an American election, a turnout of 72% marks 2022 as the highest year for abstentions in France since 1969. Moreover, many voters showed up simply to cast blank ballots, signaling that to them, neither Macron's centrism nor Le Pen's far-right policies were acceptable. While most of campus was a ghost town over fall break, there was one place you could still find Seahawk pride, the Wilmington Ice House. Students and Wilmington residents flocked to the rink last Friday to watch the UNCW club hockey team take on their counterparts from the University of Dayton, Ohio. At times a tough, physical match, UNCW continued their home game win streak, scoring on Dayton once in the second period and twice in the third for a 3-0 win. Emotions ran high throughout the game, with UNCW students jeering and cheering their respective teams on. To understand why UNCW students and fans take such pride in the club, we sat down with Noah Jacobs, who's been following the team since he came to UNCW.
As everyone knows, we don't have a football team. And we might not have that. We don't really have a whole lot of super good sports teams here at UNCW. No hate on any of them, for sure. But it's nice to have a team that's out here that's willing to and they're just a club team, but they're here to just push to, just have a good time and honestly come out here and just tear it up, dump and chase.
Students interested in attending future games can find a schedule online at dubhockey.com and can follow the team on Instagram at UNCW Hockey. When COVID-19 first hit UNCW in March of 2020, many didn't consider it a big deal. But when the decision was made to have students stay home for the semester after spring break, students realized that their college experience was in for a major change. After spending the rest of the spring semester at home, students returned in the fall to a campus drastically changed from the one they had left. The university had implemented mask mandates and social distancing policies, which affected classroom learning, residential life, and student interaction. Even with these protective mandates, however, many classes had to go fully online after COVID cases spiked across campus, leading to many students spending the entire semester in front of a computer or in a Zoom call. Now, while in-person classes have returned, vaccination rates have increased, and UNCW's COVID infection rates have dropped, students like Connor DiGiacomo and Ethan Talley are still recovering from the disruption to their college experience that COVID brought about.
Well, for me, it was mental health. I was in Galloway Hall, which didn't help from the beginning, in a very dingy area, and I was already starting to struggle a little bit with my classes, and then the quarantine stuff started.
It hasn't been too bad. I don't really like the masks in the dorms. It's getting kind of old.
Ended up having to go back home and being isolated there for so long. Grades slipped, just couldn't handle it. I ended up actually getting kicked out of the college briefly, and then I appealed and then got back in.
I feel like at a college full of young, healthy adults, we shouldn't really have to do that, especially back at home. Masks still aren't required. So,
for Com 368 News, I'm Jack Kessler.